Hey everybody, welcome to Connected Live. As you can see, I'm in a slightly different setup. I have a new office that I'm putting together, and I finally got a lighted ring to go with the phone so that I don't have so many lighting issues. So you're going to see me making some adjustments. So part of this is kind of like a test run of setting up this office so that I can film and do some connected lives from the inside when the weather is inclement like it is today. So we definitely are having bad weather, and I am home with the dogs, and this new space that I'm creating as my office, it's really interesting. I've had to put dog beds in here because both dogs want to be in here at the same time whenever I'm working. So this is kind of my refresher for 2020 of doing connected lives. I think I have a little bit of work to do with the space behind me. I have some really interesting things on either side of me, but you really can't see it the way this is set up, and I think I have to work with the camera a little bit better. But one of the things that I wanted to approach today with this new connected live, and again, I'll be making all kinds of adjustments with the camera, so thank you guys for being so patient with this connected live. But on my feed, I often will post about like healthy foods and healthy food sources. Now, what does this have to do with animals and sentient beings? As we all know, I participate with Rescue Me Incorporated, and I have for quite a while. I sit on their board of directors. Rescue Me Incorporated is out of Los Angeles. They're a small but very, very, very effective rescue in Los Angeles, and I'm proud to sit on their board, and we're hoping to be able to continue to grow Rescue Me. Rescue Me is an all-species rescue, wild and domestic, and when it comes to dogs and cats, we take the cases that nobody wants. It's really easy for rescues with money to go in and take the cute little fluffy dogs that all they need is a haircut and a little primping up, and they look fabulous. It's another thing to take the two-legged or three-legged dog or cat or one-eyed or drooling or jaw kind of the wrong way dog and find them a home. And why are the worst cases any less deserving of a home than, say, a dog that can look cute after a bath? So Rescue Me tends to focus on the animals that nobody wants, and Joy and I have rescued wolves, among other things. We've had lots of adventures, almost getting ourselves arrested a few times. And as you guys know, I'm an advocate for all species, whether they're domestic or whether they're wild. And I have 3 rescue horses, and I have Thor, which Joy helped us find, with Monty Hudson in Texas, and we've added him to our family. He's a beautiful German Shepherd. A lot of comments when I posted about Thor. What a spectacular looking German Shepherd he is, how gorgeous he is. Yeah, that's about a $3,000 dog that someone not dumped once but twice at a shelter before the age of 2. So you don't always have to go to a breeder to get what you're looking for. You can find some really beautiful spirited and beautiful physical dogs as well. Thor happened to be just the right fit for Baldur, and Baldur's actually sitting in front of me right in the floor on his dog bed staring at me. Kind of a shame about these types of cameras. I can't move them around easily, but I'm just surrounded by the dogs, and I love it because they help me do these things. A lot of people will say, well, you're such an extrovert. I'm actually an extreme introvert, but I've learned to be extroverted for the sake of the work and for the sake of helping people and animals. So I'll circle back around to my original point. My point about talking about these posts about food sources, whether you're vegetarian or you eat meat or you do a combination of both, you're vegan, vegetarian, or a combination of whatever, your food source is really important. And I talk about that because I'm not, my point of those posts are inclusion. Now, I've talked to a few people about my latest post, and everybody was said, yeah, we got the point of your post, that you were being inclusive. You weren't advocating for vegetarian, vegan, or eating meat, you were advocating for clean food sources. So having a clean food source means you have not only that you're dealing with ethical farms that are growing plants in ethical ways that are non-toxic, and supporting restaurants that provide all kinds of meals, including vegetarian, but from a non-toxic point of view. It's really hard to do, by the way. Easier to do in LA. I miss my LA restaurants where I could go and I knew things were organic and grass-fed and clean and non-GMO'd. I'm in Oklahoma now, so you can imagine that finding food at a restaurant, it's they're still catching up out here. I love living out here. I love the people, but got some catching up to do on the restaurant choices. So, we eat at home a lot, and it's because, to be quite frank, when I eat, despite having been raised Catholic, when I give thanks for what I'm eating, it's the whole plate. It's not just whether I'm having a piece of fish or a piece of chicken and thanking that animal. It's actually because I'm thanking the plants too. And so a lot of times, people will say, well, I can't eat anything with a face. My whole life, I've been able to communicate with plants as well. Trust me, they're sentient. They're different than humans, but they're sentient. Trees mourn each other. Trees take care of each other when they're sick. I mean, they're now starting to have some, I guess some people would call it squishy science around plants communicating, but more and more people are investigating how do trees communicate? How do plants communicate? Anything that's alive, viruses, bacteria. I mean, I post that article from 2008 about the difference between philosophies of Beauchamp's and Pasteur. We went with Pasteur's way of going, which is a war mentality. We've waged war on viruses. We wage war on cancer. We wage war on bacteria. We wage war on mold. All those things are living. And they all want to live. So if you wage war on them, they're going to find a way to mutate. Whereas Beauchamp's method, who was right up there with Pasteur, but we did not choose his method. We went with Pasteur. Beauchamp's was make the body so strong that it can cohabitate with these viruses and bacteria and us not get sick, because our immune systems are so strong. Which is why they tell kids that live on farms, that have animals in the house, that play in the dirt, have stronger immune systems. Why? Because their bodies have adapted, because you weren't putting antibacterial wipes all over them and wiping everything down constantly. Now, I'm going to put the context that I know what's going on in LA, and they have people going to the bathroom in the streets, and they have a homelessness issue that is unprecedented, and the filth in the streets. Yeah, I've got friends wiping off the bottoms of their shoes, taking them off, wiping off their dog's paws because the bacteria is so bad, and they're right to do it. But when you live in the country, kind of like I do, you want to play in the dirt. You want your kids to get their immune systems built. So, this war mentality that we have just does not work in so many ways, and it's leading to super viruses and super bacteria and super mold and so on and so forth. So the point about eating healthy food is that the less toxic the foods you ingest, the less processed, the more clean, the more raw, the better off you're going to be. And my posts are inclusive. They're designed to get you thinking about whatever your form of eating. It's designed to make you be conscious that you should be grateful, thankful, for A, the food you do have to eat, but B, to that food is living. It's all living at some point, and it does have its own form of sentience different than humans, and that does not make life, any kind of life, any less than human. All life is sacred. I mean, it's, we hear that, it sounds squishy, and people will argue with me. But man, people have been arguing with me since I was a child. It started with, you can't talk to animals. Animals can't talk. Lo and behold, in 2007, thank you, National Geographic, we come out with scientific proof about how much language other species have. not only within themselves, but understanding the human language. Thank you, National Geographic. And more studies keep coming out about this. So those people that used to laugh at me as a child and say, oh, you can't talk to animals. Animals are stupid. Well, lo and behold, it's the humans that are not so smart. It's the humans that, you know, if you believe that nothing is connected and everything is lower than us, then it's very easy to destroy the planet, which we're currently doing because human life takes precedent over everything. Well, that's why the planet's in the trouble that it's in. It's the reason we have the trouble between our species, whether it's race, color, nations. It's the reason that the planet's being poisoned because we think that everything, that we take precedent over everything, that all life is lower than us. As long as we hold that mentality, we'll never get this planet together. We'll continue to destroy it because then we think that we're above it all, and we're not. We're part of it. We're important too. I'm not saying that humans are rubbish. I'm human. I like myself. But I'm saying we're part of the system. And so we should be working with the planet, with nature, with each other, with other species, with plants and animals, rather than fighting against them. And so, you know, people that are vegans will argue with me, well, how can you talk to animals and love animals if you yourself eat meat? Okay, for the record, here we are publicly. I do eat meat, and I have always said this, and I eat meat because I have tried to go vegan several times. I'm actually A positive blood type, which is supposed to be the most vegan friendly. I get so sick it's not funny, and it's not the detox part. I can't. There's some humans that are just omnivores, and it's because of how many thousands of years of adaptation. Some will say that our teeth, our digestive systems are meant to be plant-based. Some of us have gotten used to eating meat. So I watch my meat sources. I watch where I get it from. I actually had a friend in college, James Madison University. I will never forget this dear, wonderful young woman that I met because she had PETA, vegan. I mean, she had magazines all over our house because, you know, we were housemates. And man, it drove me nuts because, you know, the bloody pictures and, you know, the factory farming. But she woke me up to factory farming. She really woke me up. It was a harsh lesson. And I didn't know that she ever ate meat. I thought she was pure vegan. Was she the healthiest person? No. Very dramatically overweight, had really bad skin problems. So vegan, but hadn't figured out how to do it in a healthy way. So just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're healthy or doesn't mean you're better. It just means that that's the way you've chosen to eat and you're finding it works for you, whether you're healthy or not. That's, you know, that's when people come to me to get their health turned around. Hi, Thor. So we went to her family farm because she invited me over, and they had this beautiful family farm. They grow their own vegetables. They had all their own animals, and we sit down to dinner. A beautiful old farmhouse, like 200 years old in Virginia, just gorgeous, but a working farm, you know. And we sit down, and I see her digging into a piece of steak. I literally fell out of my chair. And I went, whoa, wait a minute. What are you doing? And she said, well, here I know how our animals are treated. And while I refuse to eat factory farmed meat, I will eat meat at home because I do find myself not feeling well most of the time when I go without meat for too long. So she was one of those blood types or one of those people that needed to have meat, but yet she did it from an ethical place. So we get to the larger picture. You know, do I hope one day I can go vegan? I'd like to. I can't right now. I can tell you, I'm 50 years old this year. I do follow kind of that rule that meat is 10% of my plate and the rest of it's vegetables. But right now I can't. I talk to animals all the time and they're highly aware that I am a meat eater and they know I'm a predator, but they are peaceful with that because they understand that predators are not evil. They also understand that I don't participate in factory farming foods. I don't shop at Walmart or places that, you know, have mostly factory farm foods, which are just, you know, inherently toxic on all levels, from an energetic, from the suffering of the animals to suffering of vegetables, as far as, with the GMOs and all the, they radiate everything and the nutrition's out of them. You get this head of broccoli at a local supermarket and you think you're eating healthy and it has no nutrition because it's been irradiated to the point it has nothing. So you're basically just eating this green thing that has no nutrition, which is why supplements come into the picture, because we're so nutrient deficient at this point, on all levels, from vitamins to minerals. So back to my point, circling around healthy food. I've had encounters with predators too. I've seen wolf kills, and I've talked to animals on the other side that have been killed by predators. And you hear the humans saying, "Oh, those horrible wolves for killing that elk." Wolves only hunt to eat. And when they do, they take the weakest. They're not going to take the healthiest and the strongest, because it's a fight they won't engage with because they are not willing to get hurt. So the predators in the wild tend to take the weak, the sick, whereas human hunters tend to take trophies. They take the strongest, the biggest. So we're weakening the herds, so we hunt the wrong way. Whereas natural predators, other species, hunt the correct way. They're hunting for the old, the sick, and the young that aren't very smart. A little bit of Darwin there. And they do it the right way. And those animals are not angry at the predators. And so I've actually had my own experiences with predators, a shark, mountain lion, and had to kind of face my mortality with it. And I said, I'd rather be in the woods on horseback or walking with my dog. And if I get caught by a mountain lion, it's going to be hard to get eaten or killed, but the mountain lion's more than likely going to break my neck, which is how they hunt. They kill very efficiently, usually. The point of the mountain lion is not to torture me or to be savage. The point of the mountain lion is I'm a human. I walk upright. All my organ, my throat, everything is exposed. We're one of the most poorly designed creatures on the planet. Unless we have a gun or a weapon, we're kind of useless against a bear or a shark or any other predator unless we have tools, because we're not going to win against a predator that's designed to actually protect itself. We're a predator and we're just so poorly designed. But, we expose our jugulars, we expose all our major organs, we walk upright. We're kind of a hot mess when you look at us as a mammal. So I've had to kind of face my own mortality, and, do I know there would be suffering if I was attacked and eaten because I've had to face this down? Yeah. Is the point of the predator to make me suffer? No. I'm an easy get. I'm a meal. So I kind of really resent mainstream media when they said the savage attack of the mountain lion. It wasn't savage. You were an easy kill. It was a runner. He happened to be in the area. He saw you running. You have no way to defend yourself. You're walking upright. Everything is exposed. That mountain lion is going to go for the kill. And it's just a mountain lion being a mountain lion. It is not personal, but humans take it personal. But yet we're personal. When we get meat for ourselves, I've known some hunters that are really good and they take what they need and they kill efficiently. And that animal lived its whole life in the wild, running around. And I've known great marksmen that are hunters, and they only take what they need and they use everything. Those are the type of hunters I know, and I respect them. I don't respect factory farms. We're the only species on the planet that tortures to get its food. Why do we torture to get food? Money. Money is at the base of everything. So we create toxic vegetables and toxic earth, and we pollute our own water sources, and we torture other species trying to get our food. Yeah, the whole thing's wrong. The whole thing is wrong. How we deal with that is I choose to shop very differently and I eat very differently, and I'm very careful. Sometimes I have to eat mainstream, and I energetically give thanks and say sorry to everything on the plate, and energetically try to transform what I can. But, it sounds a little wishy or squishy because, the way I operate is still out there. Energetic medicine has come a long way. The understanding of energy and how it affects the physical and the emotional is still, being, it's new territory, and there's a lot of skepticism. But through the years, since childhood, a lot of the things that people would make fun of me about have been debunked. Like, there's a client with a house, and I know nothing about engineering, and I know nothing about geology, a little bit, but, you know, not enough to be an expert, or, you know, not even enough to get myself in trouble, because I will say what I don't know. So this person had this house on the top of like a large hill in Southern California, of course, and they were doing some remodeling. Beautiful home. And said, you know, take a look at some things, and there were some trees that were potentially problems, and widow makers, as they would call them. And what do you think? And they told me, you know, what couple of trees they were going to take down, and I kind of went, mm-mm. And they were like, what do you mean, mm-mm? I'm like, that tree is perfectly healthy and does not want to go, and actually the tree is telling me there's a problem with the foundation. I see the house going sideways. Not just if you take the tree, but even before taking the tree. The house is actually the problem, not the tree. The tree is healthy, it's big. It could be considered a widowmaker, but it is so strong, it's not going anywhere, even in a storm. So taking down that tree would be a disservice to the whole area, and you would be murdering a tree for no reason. Bad juju, bad karma, bad energy. The tree was telling me I'm healthy, but there's something wrong with the house. And the whole hillside is not stable. Now, this person is a very smart person, by the way, and they had already had somebody come in and evaluate the property, and so this engineer, and I don't know who else, said it was fine. I said, you need to call another engineer because you got a problem, because the tree is telling me you've got a problem, and it's not the tree. Lo and behold, they bring in another person, and guess what they find? They had to drill 4 25-foot deep holes down one side of the house, the side that I said was compromised, because the tree told me. I didn't know. The tree told me, because the whole hillside was unstable. So once the house was fortified with the extra stabilizing concrete, the tree was not going to be an issue. The tree's roots were strong. The tree was healthy. I mean, it was a biggin. It looked like an ant, you know, from the movie. I mean, just magnificent tree. Had seen a lot, and such a wise soul. And yeah, I'm telling you, I talked with the tree, and the tree told me about the house, which an engineer had said was fine, but we bring in another engineer, and we find that the house was deeply compromised. And we found a way to fix the house, very expensive fix, but they did, to keep it from falling, because it would have fallen on other homes. See, it wasn't the tree that was the problem. It was the house and the hillside that needed to be fortified in order for the house and the tree to stay safe. So needless to say, they had a tree guy come in to double check my work, because I said, please double check me. I'm not a tree scientist or I'm not a tree specialist, but the tree says he's good, or she's good. And lo and behold, the tree specialist said the same thing I said, that the root structure of the tree was so strong that nothing was taking this tree down. And that the tree had been well kept. He had gone in and helped the tree be healthy by, you know, taking out some, you know, certain branches and stuff, and the tree was fine with all that. It understood that it needed a haircut, if you will. So that's a little example of how sentient other life can be, and how they can help us if we're willing to listen, and how my work helps in this. And this was one of my first clients 20 some odd years ago, who was a huge skeptic and was a person in the industry that said, I want to film you. I said, great, when? And this person said, no, I want to film you to disprove what you do because I don't believe in you. And I went, okay, when do you want to film? Let's do it. Lo and behold, anytime anyone has ever tried to film me, my work is visceral and shows up. Whether it's orbs or a peace pipe. People have seen that photo of the peace pipe being shown to me at a rescue where I was working on some horses. Visceral communication with animals that you can see. Animals are communicating with me. Plants and trees, situations with homes on hillsides, stuff like that. And that's, you know, over 20 years I can knock off so many examples. So my whole point with this is that trying to explain all this, that everything is alive. Everything, and everything has an energetic signature, and our actions and how we behave completely is relevant to everything. Be thoughtful about the things that you try to kill in your yard. I'm not saying to not get rid of hostile weeds. Just do so consciously. Know that you're removing life. I remove hostile weeds all the time that have spikes that could hurt my dog, and I tell the weed, I'm really sorry, but this could, there's really no benefit to you being here, and there's plenty of others like you other places, so I'm just going to take you out and, so you don't cause harm. And I do it consciously. I help everything. Well, go on, I'm getting on a tangent again, my ADD kicking in. You want to do everything as consciously as possible. So when people look at my posts, whether I'm talking about healthy eating and having reverence for life, I'm not going against vegans and I'm not going against carnivores. I'm promoting a healthy way of eating. And like I said, I have a little bit of light on me. I have a hair of makeup on me, but it's me at 50. I'm walking the talk. Trust me, it's hard. I want to dive into donuts all day long. I have such an addictive personality. Being an empath, man, there are days that I white knuckle it. I pick up everything on Facebook. I pick up on people's agendas, people's lies, all the positive stuff too, which helps. But there's stuff that gets at me, and thank God I don't drink. Thank God I don't do drugs. And it's hard to walk the talk. I've wrestled with my weight through the decades. But yeah, I'm a reasonable weight. I'm a size 4 or 6, depending on, what pants I put on, what designer. But I'm a reasonable weight, and I go to the gym and I lift weights and I do a little bit of yoga. I mean, I can't be like a celebrity and spend 4 hours at the gym. I gotta work to make a living and support all the animals. But I spend some time. I make sure I get my 10 minutes of yoga in the morning. I go to the gym for 45 minutes. I eat healthy and I eat tasty, but yeah, would I love to, stuff my face full of just pure sugar and lard? Yes, icing. Oh, I miss it. But that does nothing for me. And if I want to be an example of how to be healthy, then I have to walk the talk, or clients aren't going to work with me. So here I am at 50. I'm not wealthy. I am not a celebrity. I can't go and do fancy treatments. I don't have a chef cooking for me. I don't have a trainer making sure my butt stays in the northern region rather than in the southern region, as it tends to happen when we hit this age. I'm doing it myself. And I'm a person, I've got some extraordinary gifts, but I'm a person just like everybody else, and I fight my own demons and my own battles every day. But in the end, what wins out is being healthy, because I want to ride horses, and I want to ride bareback, and I want to walk my dogs, and I want to go exploring and have adventures. It's, the next 50, if you will. I want my mind to be there. I want to have good health in all ways. Somebody put a Facebook posting, and there was a quote on there saying, good health just means dying slower. No, it means while you're here, be as mobile, be as active, have as many epic adventures, whatever they look like, as humanly possible. God, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy living. And bring that consciousness that all life matters. And I treat my body like, I don't treat my body to kill stuff. Like, I rarely get sick. It's pretty rare. I get sick when I'm overly stressed, and when I'm stressed out, then I create too much toxicity in my body, and then the imbalance happens, and then you open the door to getting sick. And sometimes the sickness is there because you're burning both ends of the candle, and the sickness is there to slow you down sometimes so that you can sit still for a little bit, think about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So there's a lesson in everything. And that was part of what somebody had mentioned in the post, what about suffering? The Buddhists will say suffering, like happiness, is a choice. Man, it takes mental discipline. I don't have the complete answer on that one yet. I work on it every day. I work on my mindset, how I view things. I've had a lot of things happen to me that I haven't quite shared, but the level of stress, people have said, how do you look so good for the level of stress you've been under? Point of view, perception, how I choose to live, how I choose to move forward. In my private moments, I have a good cry. My friends, know me well. I'm a person just like everybody else, but I want to be the best that I can be, and as a holistic practitioner, then I have to walk the talk so that others know that they can do it, because if I can do it, they can do it. So if you'd like to find out more about working with me, connectedenergyhealing.com. That's connectedenergyhealing.com. Treat yourself in the new year. It's a new decade. This is a new 10 years. You can reset your paradigms. You can reset your health. You can reset your point of view. I have one client that is doing so well in a profession that they were told they were finished, for being white, by the way, and too old. And man, have they knocked it out of the ballpark. They are thriving. And so, yes, I help people and animals with their health. But I also, part of good health is your career, is your mission and purpose. I help people find that. So like I had an actor work with me for a while that's doing incredibly well. And they said to me, well, how is acting my mission and purpose? And I then started to list how that's mission and purpose. And they were just blown away that they had not thought of their artistic medium as a way to show positivity and what roles they chose. And so, yeah, a lot of people then end up working with me in career direction, career development. I have businesses and CEOs that come to me to help with negotiations of business agreements. I have people in trouble in business say, gosh, can you help us with this, with what you do? And yeah, I have an extensive business background, believe it or not. Prior to doing this, I was in business for a long time. And that's what I went to school for, recruited to the State Department. I speak 3 languages. It's not just somebody who kind of came out and said, I have a gift. All gifts, no matter what kind of gift you have in life, must be trained. If they are not trained, then you've got a loose cannon. And so I just had a client that I haven't worked with in a long time approach me yesterday and say to me, I have someone, a psychic, giving me X information. Such an old paradigm and a fear technique to get someone to spend money. And some of these people are in it for the long game, so they befriend you, and you think they're your friend, and then they find a way to get their hooks into you, and I have psychic information about bad luck you're having. Wow. You constantly have to be evaluating relationships and friendships and what people's agendas are. And so I had that person say to me, in all the years I've known you, I've never seen you pull that. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't have the platinum reputation that I have today if I pulled that kind of malarkey. So I'm actually going to be working with that person today because they said, I just have a few questions because of all this stuff I'm being told. And I already kind of know what I'm going into. So I'm really glad to clear that up for them and make sure that they don't get preyed upon, by people using fear as a way to get work. Whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, a medium, anybody using fear ways of acting in order to get you to work with them. It's just not a great paradigm to follow ever. And that's what I teach people, to come from confidence and love in all things. And so if anybody tries to use fear as a tactic, that shows you're on the wrong track with the wrong people, and things need to be modified. I'm going to leave it at this for today. I could go on and on. There's going to be lots of connected energies over this year. I'm really glad to have this office set up. I'll have it set up even nicer next time, and I'm really glad I got this lighting ring. I'm not a technology person. I really don't have anybody to help me here, so this is kind of fun and new for me to have this tripod, Thank you all for tuning in. Please share this with as many people as you like. People can find me at connectedenergyhealing.com. I am going to be redoing my website, and I will talk with you all soon. The animals are all around me. You just can't see them. All right. Bye, everybody.